Hello friends, welcome to this session. Today we will be talking about nutrition during pregnancy and fetal growth. This is part of the certificate program in food and nutrition. The course is Your Food and Its Utilization, Block 3, Unit 8. I'm Professor Deeksha Kapoor from the discipline of Nutritional Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University. So let us see what this session will focus on. First, we will look at the physiological changes during pregnancy. We will understand the normal growth and development of a baby in the mother's womb. We will look at the nutritional needs during pregnancy. Next, what care we need to take to ensure a safe pregnancy and delivery. And what are the problems which are encountered in pregnancy and the risk factors during pregnancy? Well, let's get started. We know that normal pregnancy is about 9 months to 70 days approximately, and we tend to divide this entire 9-month period into 3 trimesters. Trimester 1, the first 3 months, trimester 2, the next 3 months, and trimester 3, the next 3 months. You would notice that from a single cell, which is the size of a tiny pinhead, from there life begins, and in that 9 months, the cell grows to become a fetus who at birth will weigh 2.5 to 3 kgs. And this fetus growth is taking place in the mother's womb, and all the nourishment this fetus is getting from the mother through a spongy structure called placenta. Now, pregnancy therefore becomes a period of physiological stress. Physiological stress because it puts a lot of burden on the mother's body. First, the fetal growth. Because the fetus is growing, as you have already seen that from a single cell, the fetus grows up to weigh 2.53 kgs at the time of birth. It is a very critical period. So after the egg fertilization, the egg is implanted in the womb of the mother. So for the first 2 weeks is the germinal stage, when this single cell, fertilized cell, then divides into many millions of cells, and any adverse influence at this time will cause failure for the cell to survive. Then as the pregnancy advances, the next 5 weeks is the embryonic stage. At 8 weeks, the embryo is just about 3 centimeters long, but it already has the central nervous system which is formed. It has the skins which has developed from the outermost layers of the cell. You have the muscles and the internal organs, the systems developing from the middle layer of the cells, and the glands and the lining of the different glands and the organs like the digestive organ, the respiratory gland, the excretory system, they develop from the innermost layers of the cell. Therefore, this is the embryonic stage till 8 weeks. Following this, the next 7 months is the fetal stage, where there is tremendous increase in the size of the baby. Each and every organ system which has already been developed, as you have seen earlier in that stage, here all these systems start becoming mature slowly and slowly. Therefore, right from the time of fertilization till the 9 months, this is a very critical period of growth. And this critical period, from a single cell, the fetus grows and at birth weighs 2.5 to 3 kgs. This becomes a very critical period from the growth and development point of view. And therefore, to support the growth of the fetus, there is tremendous physiological changes which are taking place in the mother's body to support the growth. That is why we call it a period of physiological stress. What happens? The womb where the baby or the fetus is growing, that starts expanding. The breast grows in size so as to support breastfeeding once the child is born. The placenta, which is the spongy structure which provides for nutrition to the baby, that develops. You would notice there is deposition of fat in the body. Why? Because to provide for the milk which will be produced at the time of lactation or when the mother nurses the baby with her breast milk. And the most significant change is the increase in the blood volume. The blood volume almost doubles. Why? To nourish the growing fetus. Therefore, what we notice, there is weight gain during pregnancy. Weight gain is essential. Mother must gain weight during pregnancy because that is the only indicator that the fetus is growing normally. Therefore, how much of weight gain is normal? Normally, the experts and research shows that about 10 to 12 kg is the weight gain during the entire pregnancy. And what contributes to this weight gain? As you can see, basically the weight of the fetus. As you have seen, from a single cell, by the time the infant at birth weighs 2.5 to 3.5 kgs. The cutoff is 2.5 kgs. In addition, to support this, mother's fat stores contribute about 0.9 kgs. Placenta, the baby and the placenta together contribute 1.8 kgs. There is increase in the mother's blood volume. About 1.8 kg is accounted for the increase in the blood volume. Increase in the size of the breast, about 0.4 kgs. There is the fluid which surrounds the baby, the amniotic fluid, that accounts for about 0.8 kgs. The placenta we've talked about, that contributes to the overall weight. Therefore, a total weight gain of 10 to 12 kg is recommended during pregnancy. However, one thing we must understand here is that mother should begin the pregnancy as an adult at the appropriate weight for height. As you have seen in the recommended dietary allowances lecture, we talked about a reference weight for a man and a woman, and we've considered 55 kgs as the reference weight for a woman. So a woman with 55 kgs as a reference weight or the pre-pregnancy weight, this woman should gain around 10 to 12 kgs during pregnancy. However, various surveys, research undertaken in our country, particularly by the National Nutrition Monitoring Bureau, the data shows that Indian women, particularly from lower socioeconomic background or in the rural area, their average body weight is about 47 kgs or so. Their average pregnancy weight gain is about 7 to 8 kgs. Therefore, we need to be careful about these aspects when we are talking about pregnancy, because weight gain is a direct indicator of good fetal health. So the weight gain, you would notice during first 3 months, there is not much weight gain. A woman may put approximately 1 to 2 kg weight. Thereafter, the weight gain starts increasing, and it should be roughly at the rate of 2 kg per month. What would happen if a mother does not gain weight as recommended? Well, As you have already seen the kind of rapid growth, development taking place for the fetus, you have seen that the maternal organs are being developed. So if adequate weight gain is not there, then the mother may give birth to an underweight baby. It has direct link to the health of the baby. The child may be born with a low birth weight who may have a little chance of survival. This low birth weight baby, if he or she survives, may be malnourished and weak. Baby may not be strong enough to get all the nourishment it needs while suckling when the child is born, while breastfeeding. He or she may not even be able to cry to attract the attention of the mother or the caregiver. Therefore, we need to ensure that weight gain must be there during pregnancy. So by looking at the stages of fetal growth and development, looking at the physiological changes taking place in the mother body, you can very well appreciate what important role nutrition will play in the diet of a pregnant mother. Adequate diet is very important. What would be an adequate diet? Well, that diet which will support the growth of placenta, a diet which will support the growth of the baby inside the womb. Therefore, a diet which meets the requirement during pregnancy. We have talked about the recommended dietary allowances, and you understand that the requirement during pregnancy and lactation are in addition to the requirement of the women when she was pre-pregnant. Therefore, if the requirements do not match the growing needs of the baby, the development of the maternal tissues, such an infant will not be able to achieve its full potential. So such an infant who is born with low birth weight, this child will grow into a small statured child, because if the conditions of inadequate diet continues, this infant will grow to be an preschool child, and school-going child, or an adolescent who has not achieved its full potentials. And this adolescent girl who later goes on to adulthood, to being a mother, will again produce a child who will be of low birth weight. So it's an intergenerational cycle of undernourishment which starts right at pregnancy. Therefore, the diet during pregnancy becomes very important. That's why we are emphasizing the need for adequate nutrition during pregnancy. So let us look at what would be the nutrient need then, so as to support all the growth development we've just talked about. So remember, the nutritional need during pregnancy is beyond the basic pre-pregnancy requirement. Therefore, the recommendations are given pre-pregnancy requirement plus additional requirement. So we have learned that the ICMR is the body which gives recommendations for our population group. What do they recommend in terms of energy and protein for pregnant women? So depending on the activity level of the women, pre-pregnancy activity. So if it is a sedentary woman doing light work, she may need additional 350 kilocalories. Her basic requirement may be 1600, but she may need additional 350 calories. If we take a woman who is doing moderate activity, her requirement for protein during pregnancy may be the same, 350 calories, but her pre-pregnancy requirement may be more than 1600 requirement. So accordingly, it is the additional requirement for calories during pregnancy which is added to the basic pre-pregnancy requirement to meet the needs of both the women as well as the fetus. Similarly, the protein requirements are increased. Let us look at the changes in the requirement for nutrients in pregnancy as compared to the non-pregnant women. How does pregnancy increase the requirement and by what percentages? When we look at the energy requirement, we said that a pregnant woman needs 350 kilocalories more than what she would have taken when she was pre-pregnant. This accounts to 22% increase in the energy requirement. However, if she is indulging in extra work, depending on the activity level, you may need to increase the requirement. Similarly, in case of adolescent girls, if a girl at the age of 18 becomes pregnant, she would need extra energy because she needs energy to support her growth development as well as now the growth development of the fetus. Therefore, her requirements may be more. Looking at the protein requirements, since pregnancy is a period of rapid growth and development, as you have seen, and it is the protein which support the synthesis of new tissues. Therefore, the requirement for proteins increases during pregnancy. The growth of the fetus to support the maternal tissues which will support the growth of the fetus, the protein requirement grows up. And as you have seen, additional intake of 25 grams over and above what is the pre-pregnancy requirement needs to be included. For example, if a woman requires about 45 to 50 grams of proteins when she was pre-pregnant, here, as you can see, almost 50% of the requirement is increased during pregnancy. What we need to understand is good quality protein needs to be given. So, cereal pulse combination, combining milk with cereal-based or vegetable-based diets will go a long way in improving the quality of protein in the diet. And of course, the meat and meat products, if non-vegetarian, they can be included to give good quality proteins. What about minerals and vitamins? Well, we have already seen because of the rapid growth of the fetus, there is formation of red blood cells, the blood volume increases, the fetus is growing, the bones, the skeletal system will be developed, the nervous system is being developed. Therefore, the needs for most minerals and vitamins are increased for utilization or for providing for the needs. Particularly, you would see that the need for B complex vitamins, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, B6, all these are increased to accommodate for the increased energy requirement. Similarly, for folate and vitamin B12, along with iron, to support the increase in the blood volume, these requirements are increased. For folate, an adult woman may need only 180 micrograms, but during pregnancy, in fact, at the time of pregnancy, before the pregnancy, the folate nutrition needs to be good. Likewise, vitamin B12, the requirement increases. So for folate, the requirement goes up to about 480 micrograms during pregnancy. For vitamin B12, normal requirement is 2 microgram plus addition 0.2 microgram. Iron requirement also increases. We have seen earlier that for an adult, it's 15, but during pregnancy, it will go up to 21 milligrams per day. And all this is required for the increase in the blood volume. Likewise, calcium is needed to provide for the skeletal development, and iodine is a very important nutrient for fetal development. Therefore, the requirement for most of the nutrients, as you have seen, increases, and which nutrient you are now getting aware about this. Therefore, we need a balanced diet for the adult women. What foods to include so as to meet these requirements? Of course, the energy requirement is more. Protein requirement has increased tremendously. Therefore, we have learned that the energy-giving nutrients are carbohydrates, fats, and we can get the carbohydrates from cereals. Therefore, you will find that for each of the food group, amounts are given. So a pregnant woman may need to take 325 grams of cereals in a day. She needs to include the fat intake in her diet so as to provide for that extra energy. So about 25 grams. You will get these recommendations already provided to you. So depending on these, the protein requirement goes up. So proteins coming from pulses, meat and meat products, or milk and milk products. So pulses about 90 grams. These are the recommendations for a sedentary pregnant woman. However, if there is a woman doing little more strenuous work than the sedentary, their requirement will go up further. And particularly fruits and vegetables, they form a very important part of the pregnant women's diet. Pregnant women must consume about 300 grams of green leafy vegetables and other vegetables. They may need to include about 150 grams of fruits in the diet. So, depending on what is available, you need to include these fruits. Prepare a balanced diet so that the need for energy, protein, and vitamin and minerals are met. Here are certain do's and don'ts. Quickly, let us go through those. A pregnant woman must have a regular checkup, antenatal checkup during the entire period of pregnancy. She must eat a balanced diet as already informed. Include those foods which will help in the growth, development of the fetus. Have a small but frequent meals. You would notice as we go through the lecture, a mother may not be able to eat much at one time. So small and frequent meals must be given. Pay attention to the skin, breast, teeth, blood circulation. The mother, pregnant woman, must do simple exercises and she should avoid exertion or strenuous exercises. Include sufficient fiber in the diet to provide for roughage. Green leafy vegetables, whole grain cereals, they are rich in fiber and they provide the roughage for easy elimination of the feces from the body. Therefore, sufficient fiber must be included in the diet. Drink plenty of water. And some women may experience gestational diabetes. So, regular checkup we have already talked about to eliminate any such problem. What are the don'ts then for the pregnant women? Do not curtail diet even for a smaller period of diet. Never take any of the drugs, alcohol, smoke. These are the things which are not recommended for the pregnant women. These need to be avoided. And of course, for a happy pregnancy, it is best to avoid conflict, anger, and such emotions. What are the problems then encountered in pregnancy? You would notice many women will have certain food cravings. They may like to take certain foods. That's called pica. These do not pose any health hazard as such, as long as they do not interfere with the good eating habits. Some may want to have a craving for raw tamarind, which is emily, or they may want to have amla, citrus fruits. These foods are nutritious and should be eaten, but any food which interferes with the good eating habits may be curtailed. Another problem experienced is morning sickness. You would see women during early pregnancy complain of morning sickness, nausea. This is common. As I've said, in early pregnancy, what do we do to overcome this? Basically, you need to have a high carbohydrate diet first thing in the morning. Maybe a biscuit, bread, rusk taken early morning will help eliminate this. Other is nausea, heartburn, vomiting, which the women experience. For that, eating small feeds will help the mother. In between the main meals, having snacks, nutritious snacks will help the mother avoid these sensations. Avoid strong flavored foods, tea, coffee. Avoid spicy food, fried foods, which may interfere, which may cause nausea, which may cause the heartburn. When the baby is growing, the womb expands and it puts pressure on the stomach. So the food tends to get back into the esophagus, and nausea and vomiting or heartburns are common. Therefore, small frequent feeds, avoiding strong flavored foods, spicy foods, oily foods will help the mother. Constipation is another problem. The enlarged womb presses against the intestine and they prevent the normal movement of food. So consume plenty of vegetable and fruits which provide fiber. You've learned earlier that fiber absorbs water and becomes soft and provides bulk and helps in the movement of the food in the intestine. Also, exercising, simple exercises will help prevent constipation. And of course, water, consuming adequate amount of water will help. Another problem is toxemia, which is the swelling or puffiness around the ankles, which is observed in some pregnant women. There will be high blood pressure. There may be kidney problems. This can seriously affect the baby. And the outcome can be the retarded growth or lung problems. To avert this, the women should have nutritionally adequate diet. Based on the advice given by the doctor, the women can avoid these. Let us finish this lecture by looking at some risk factors for malnutrition in pregnancy. What are the risk factors? Women aged below 18 years who become pregnant are at risk of pregnancy, malnutrition. Short pregnancy gap, repeated pregnancy in quick succession, they predispose the women to malnutrition. As you have seen that lot of stress is on the mother to provide for nutrients to the mother. So repeated pregnancy at short intervals can be a risk factor. History of abortions, miscarriages can be a risk factor. A woman who is drastically underweight or overweight, as you have seen, a woman who is 45 or 47 kgs below this age, she is at risk. She may result in maternal mortality, or the child born to a mother like this may not survive, will have low birth weight. Even overweight can be a risk for pregnancy. Outcome particularly, lack of sufficient food. As you have already seen the kind of growth development taking place, we need to increase the amount of food. Unfortunately, many surveys have shown that the diet of a pregnant woman is sometimes the same as what she was having when she was pre-pregnant. That predisposes both the mother and the child to ill health. Then alcohol abuse or taking drugs, substance abuse is a risk factor for malnutrition in pregnancy, and medication without medical supervision. So we hope you have a good idea about nutrition during pregnancy. We end this session here. Thank you.